Hey, this is Kit Cabela of Harlan's Media. I'm joined here with Yiran Zhang. She is one of the organizers for Answer in Chicago. So, for our viewers and subscribers, why are you part of this organization, and why do you think it should play an impact with current American politics?
So I'm part of this organization because I see Answer Chicago as doing a lot of really necessary, really radical on the ground work. So we work a lot with local organizations, grassroots movements. Answer Chicago is involved in a lot of different issues that affect Chicagoans in particular. So I just see them as a wonderful place to, be a radical activist.
Now, there's a growing disenfranchisement towards the two-party system, and Democrats and Republicans are viewed with disdain by a growing portion of Americans. 40% of Americans are now identifying themselves as independents. So, essentially, in September, there's going to be a large conference with Answer in Chicago leading the charge. What it would be the purpose of this conference in Washington, D.C.?
So the purpose of this conference, the People's Congress of Resistance, is to gather as many people who are involved in grassroots activism or people who are politically inclined or just want to resist this, as you said, this two-party system, to get together and sort of like air our ideas, discuss ways to move forward to actively resist the broken two-party system that we see. I see this kind of as more coalition building. We talk a lot about single issue voters from this past election, but a lot of the activists that I know, especially like I used to be, like a single issue activist. And it wasn't until I joined Answer Chicago and actually moved to Chicago and saw all the different issues that people were dealing with that didn't just affect them, but, affected more people, that I began to realize, oh, like other people's problems are my problems as well. So the People's Congress of Resistance is kind of like a way of being able to get a lot of people in one room to talk about the problems that we face and gain a new perspective on those, as well as develop a plan for moving forward, having been informed by these different perspectives for future resistance to the two-party system.
All right. And speaking of building coalitions, of course, there's been numerous activist groups that have been stepping up, and also there's been a huge increase of people supporting third parties. Take, for example, the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, or Socialist Alternative. Has Answer in Chicago reached out to independent parties such as those groups or any other grassroots organizations for their event in September?
Yeah, so we've actually had several days where we all just kind of got together in a large group, came to this office actually, and just spent a few hours listening to some great music while typing up like outreach emails, outreach messages, trying to contact a lot of groups that we see in Chicago doing great work already and saying, hey, want to like come on board with us and let us know what you're dealing with, how we can help, how we can all get together and help. So we've been mostly contacting groups through like Facebook, through email, different organizations who have like a footing in Chicago, who might be amenable to this kind of organization.
And a final question, and I've asked this question at the People's Summit in McCormick Place, as well as Socialism 2017. That was also at the McCormick Place as well. What do you want to say to people who are perhaps maybe sitting in the background feeling that they shouldn't get involved, their vote doesn't matter, and if they do get involved, it won't matter at all? What do you want to say to people who are just sitting down and just not doing anything?
I'm inclined to say that, yeah, from the looks of it, it does seem like their vote doesn't matter, that, they're just one person in a tide of many. But there have been many people's movements in the past who like just kind of rode on the momentum generated by many people coming together, people who were disenchanted by what they saw. So what I'm seeing in a lot of like my peers nowadays is, oh, well, I'm too busy with coursework or I'm too busy with my job. And they kind of buy into this hopelessness or like this pessimism. And I want to stress that what we're involved with in Answer Chicago is more like what we call a revolutionary optimism. that like you can, you know, get together. There are like-minded people who do want a better world. You know, what you see right now is people getting by, living on their basic necessities. And, you know, we say a lot of times, like, a better world is possible. And that's so true, because you need to be able to, like, what we see right now is just what the ruling class allows us to have, like the little concessions they've made in their power over us so that we are, you know, happy enough or complacent enough. And what gets me is that, like, you can think outside of the box, you know, like with people power. You see this in so many other countries where, like, people get together and can have a say in things. Like, that's kind of how our country started in the first place. So yeah.
So when the people stand up, change can happen. That's a great note to end it on. And Yiran,
we're not ending here.
of course, there's going to be continued fighting. But Yiran, I definitely want to thank you for joining Hard Lens Media, and to our entire audience, peace, everyone.